Good morning to everyone present over here. I'm Aniket Kakde from Amravati University, and before I start my presentation and I go to my perspective and the points on the topic that is the current status and the future of our democracy, the future of Indian democracy, I have a very simple question for all of you. I don't need any answer right now from all of you, but just I insist you to think and to think about the question and answer. And the question is like, do you even think that the Indian democracy has any future? The steps which we are taking right now and what we are leading towards. Now you might have some different answers, like some of you might think Indian democracy is the largest democracy in the world and it has a great future. And some of you might think like the democracy in India isn't perfect. There are some flaws in it. But let me tell you what I think is the flaws isn't in the democracy, the flaws in the citizens of the India. The citizens, the people we. Because democracy is what we are learning from us in the childhood, from the schools, that democracy means a form of government of the people, for the people and by the people. So we the people of India have to contribute from our side to develop the nation to be the largest democratic country in the world. Now, let me begin with the strength of the Indian democracy, because the present which we are living right now, as the Bhagavata mentioned that if you are thinking the next 20 years, then only you are thinking. And the present which we are living right now is what the future, the B.R. Ambedkar and the Constitutional Assembly at that time think about. But right now we are not thinking about the future, we don't have any vision to develop our nation to be the greatest and the largest democracy in the world. Now, starting with the point of social differences, that's one of the best strength of the Indian democracy. Like, India is the country with the 140 crores of population, with 8 different religions, 100 of languages, and the people with different culture, perspective, and different thought process. But still in India, we people are living with unity. And that's what the thing which we have achieved. Because in the other nations like the Northern Ireland, there was a time there was a war between the Roman Catholics and the Christians. They were trying to be the majority and that led to a war. The people were killed and the soldiers were killed in the war. Same happens with the Yugoslavia. There was a disintegration of Yugoslavia in the 6 different parts. In the Sri Lanka, there were the Tamils and Sinhalas, and that same thing happened in Sri Lanka. I agree that democracy consists of the competition between the political parties, and that competition leads to violence, disintegration, and the conflict. But if we citizens understand what is the responsibility towards our nation, then there will be no conflict, there will be no violence, there will be no integration, and what we have achieved. And this is why the reason India is the largest democratic country in the world. There is a multi-party system, the concept of multi-party system in India. In China, there is a communist party, single-party system. In the US, there is a two-party system. But obviously, it depends upon the diversity and the geographical area, and that's why we are equipped the multi-party system. And here's a fair chance of winning in the elections. We have a fair chance of voting. But what we didn't understand is that we all know that we are all aware about we have got the freedom of right to vote. But we don't understand the responsibility about to vote the right. We don't understand we have the responsibility to vote the right person. And here comes that there are some flaws in the democracy. Because each and every citizen of this country is not being the part of the government, they are not understanding that we people are only the government. Let me begin with the point of the women's representation in the parliament and decision-making process. In India, its survey says that the less than 10% of the women are being the part of decision-making process of the government. And recently I read an article that in the government there has been a bill passed about the Nari Shakti Vandan bill. It's about reservation, 33% reservation of the women's. But I personally don't agree. This is not a solution to increase the women's representation in the parliament and the decision-making process. Don't you think like at the local level, at the grassroots level, at the village level, the political party should give the tickets to the women so that it will be inspired and they will motivate them to be the part of the election. They will understand democracy, the real meaning of democracy, that how the decision-making process has been done, and that will inspire you, we the youth of this country, to be in the decision-making process and the politics. And that's what we need. भारत के जिस संविधान ने हम भारतीयों को हक दिया है वो राजनीतिक दल कहते हैं कि वो हक हम आपको दे रहे हैं. What's the point? It is already mentioned in the constitution that each and every citizen of the country has got equal rights and opportunities. This is not the first time this Nari Shakti Bandhan bill has been passed in the parliament. Because at the time of the formation of constitution, each and every women member, total 19 members of the women of the Constitutional Assembly opposed this bill, and there's a statement by Sarojini Naidu saying that any woman or any citizen of this country don't want to get elected or want an opportunity on the basis of the reservation. We want an opportunity on the basis of the potentials and the ability we have. We all youth are all here because of the potential and ability we have. And the same situation is youth also. There is a survey been done about the Indian government that in the Lok Sabha in the government, majority of the leaders are above the age of 60 or 55s, and that leaders are the ones who have established their own identity on their own. But the same thing that the leaders, those who are at the age of 30 to 35, they are the sons or in the relationship with those leaders who have been established their identity in the government. There is no active participation of the youth in the decision-making process. And there's one more point which is related to the youth, that is education and economic development, which the government are not focusing on, the people are not focusing on it. I will come to that point later, but first of all, I would like to discuss with you about the rural literacy rate and the rural empowerment. Because once Gandhi ji said that the Asli Bharat gaon mein basta hai, he talked about self-reliant India. Why don't we people understand that at the village level, if a community, if an individual starts their own business, we all at village level have certain innovative ideas, they have innovations. The government can support this innovation and innovative ideas of the rural people. They can cultivate the grassroots innovations, they can set up industries and small industries at the village level and become self-funded, self-reliant. There are many institutions and organizations like the Srishti, Gyan, and many organizations like the NIF, these are self-funded. They are dependent upon the income what we are, they are generating from it, and they are running the organization on them. And that can be done in the village level itself. And if I'm from Yavatmal, there's some considered to be rural, considered as an urban area, but I know what the real situation is. If you go into Yavatmal, if you ask any people to go into the village, for them, democracy is not something like constitution, the decision-making process, the fundamental rights and all they don't. They have aware so much knowledge about the political leaders, the political parties. And what we have did, we have elected a representative who is a criminal, who has a criminal records at the state and the center. And what will the impact of those leaders on this rural area, on the youth and the rural people living in this village? They will think that only the money and the muscle power will think that we can be in the decision-making process or we can contribute from our side towards the nation. And that's why they are dependent upon the money and muscle power, and that we want to change in our country. Next point is about the education and economic development. Because, see, I will be very quick. Just consider a situation, there is a student who has been very much interested in the science and innovations. And there are some Atal Tinkering Labs by the Niti Aayog and Atal Innovation Mission. There are some, this aim is to develop the scientific temperament in the students. But don't you understand that what we need is to add the value of the Samvedana, Sahyog and the Sarjanshilta among the students. And that's what we need. Because economic development is only responsible, the education and economic development is only responsible that we will have a great, largest democracy in the world. If we will not able to fulfill the basic needs, how will we develop ourselves? And why the students stop working on the creative, innovative ideas from the laboratories he's been doing in the class 10 after that? Because there is no scope. The student who is working on the projects in the school age, what is the scope of he want to do research and technicality in that? He just have to crack the entrance exam. There is no such career opportunity for the students, those who have cultivate their mindset of problem solving mindset. They have cultivate their understand that knowledge is for to solve the real life problem of society. I personally agree that the government cannot directly develop the India economically, but what government can do is provide the great education, and education means what too, that the youth of this nation can continuously acquire the knowledge and can utilize it for the development of the society, can solve these problems, and on which the government of India can work. And it will definitely lead to the increase and definitely lead to development of economic development of the country. But we all have a very common answer to that. We have a very great population, that's why the average per capita income is low. But we have a consumer mindset, that has the problem. We can manufacture the products, we can provide services. And at last, I just want to say that as a youth of this nation, As a student, as an engineering student, I believe that I will continuously acquire the knowledge and will utilize it for the development of society. Thank you.